Senator Plett.
Colleagues, 150 years ago, Mennonites started leaving imperial Russia to immigrate to Canada. They left their homes in Borosenko, Ukraine, a land of almost subtropical climate and rich soils, and made the long and hazardous voyage to a wild frontier they knew very little about. They did not do so lightly. They had previously moved from Russia to Russia from Poland in the late 18th century, after they were invited by Catherine the Great, who promised them land, religious freedom, and exemption from military service. But later, when Czar Alexander II reneged on these freedoms, they had no choice but to leave. The appeal they sent to the government official to ask for permission to leave shows the importance of their faith. In this decision, they wrote, "We are not leaving with ingratitude, but rather leave Russia with heart-rending tears and thankfulness. But it is our principles and holy duty to preserve and to cling to the faith of our forefathers." The first wave of immigrants arrived in August of 1874, landing at the junction of the Red River and the Rat River near St. Agathe, Manitoba. After a trip of 15,000 kilometers, they had traveled by horse and wagon, river steamer, train, ocean steamer, laker, and finally by paddleboat down the Red River from North Dakota. 4 months later, those with access to trees had already built houses of timber, sod, and plaster. And surprisingly, all the Mennonite families had warm homes and stables for the winter. They were hardworking, ambitious, and determined. But do not mistake this to mean it was easy. Their first few years in Manitoba were extraordinarily difficult, and not everyone survived, but they persevered. The first villages were established on a parcel of land set aside for them by the government, east of the Red River, known as East Reserve. Those villages were named Steinbeck, Blumenort, and Kleefeld. And this is where the first evangelical Mennonite conference churches were established, then known as the Kleine Gemeinde, with others to follow as the population expanded. One such expansion happened in 1918 when families moved into the landmark area, and a Kleine Gemeinde church was planted, which thrives after more than 100 years. My great-grandfather, Reverend H.R. Rymuth, pastored this church for the first 25 years. This past Sunday, we closed our church service by singing the very hymn sung by those Mennonites departing Russia in 1874, as they left behind family and friends, many of whom they would not see again in their lifetime. This hymn is called "God Be With You Till We Meet Again." And in closing, I would like to read you the words of the first verse. "God be with you till we meet again. By his counsels guide, uphold you. With his sheep securely fold you. God be with you till we meet again." Today, I am thankful for the vision, the sacrifice, and the perseverance of my ancestors who came to Canada to preserve their faith and help make Canada what it is today. Danke schön, and thank you.